just a horrific scene, seeing her sit in the middle of all of that around her. And it was almost kind of like God was telling me, you know, there's still innocence in the world, even with everything that's so crazy around you. And she was just staring at us, just with her eyes, just pleading for help.
We're learning more tonight about that horrific wreck that happened on the General W.K. Wilson Jr. Bridge.
We brought you this story as breaking news last night at 9 o'clock after an SUV with 6 people inside crashed on the bridge and ended up flipping into the water below. Now take a look at this picture that a viewer sent in of the 4 people who went into the water. All of them were rescued.
The troopers say the 42-year-old Deborah Hartley, who was also a passenger in the SUV, died after she was ejected from the vehicle before getting to the bridge.
And a 3-year-old girl was also thrown from that vehicle in the crash. She was found, as you just heard, sitting in the middle of the road just minutes after the accident.
A family stopped to help her, and one of the Good Samaritans is talking to Fox 10 News reporter Letitia Bush about the intense moments on that bridge. Letitia joins us now in the studio. First, how is the little girl?
Well, you know, officials are not releasing which hospital she was taken to, so we don't know her current condition. But we know last night that little girl was terrified. One of the first people to come in contact with her describes how she tried to help the child and reassure her everything will be okay.
Driving, maybe somebody was under the influence. But
Emily Ardendahl was hoping her 3-year-old daughter would be awake when she got home, but she was going to be late. There was another 3-year-old girl that needed her.
her face was completely blank. She had no emotion on her face whatsoever. She was not crying. It was almost as if she was in complete shock.
Ardendahl and her parents were on their way home from Auburn. When Ardendahl's dad spotted the debris, that's when Emily locked eyes with the child.
I just saw a little girl sitting in the middle of the debris with everything around her, and she had her knees to her chest. And I just screamed, you know, there's a baby, there's a baby. She was just staring at us, just with her eyes, just pleading for help.
The family spotted 42-year-old Deborah Hartley on the ground near the child. She wasn't moving.
I immediately thought about my 3-year-old and how horrible it was that her mama, or whoever that was laying next to her, just couldn't help her. And that's the first thing that, you know, as mothers, that's the first thing you do is protect your babies. And there was nobody there to protect her. And I just felt like, you know, my mom immediately went over to her and had her stand up and picked her up and just held her like a baby and just, you know, told her she was going to be okay and we were going to take care of her.
Ardendahl says the child had blood all over her, glass in her hair. All Ardendahl could hope is that that little girl knew she was going to be okay.
We're very caring people and very loving people, and my mother's one of the most amazing women in the world, and my father is too, but she didn't know that. She doesn't know that she was in the best hands she could be in, that my mother was holding her and we were going to make sure she was okay.
A big question here, too, is was the little girl in a car seat? Authorities have not released that information, but I am asking that question. If we hear the answer, we'll let you know. On Fox 10 News at 5:30, you'll hear how Ardendahl's day was thrown off course before the accident and why she believes that put her at the right place at the right time.
I was not expecting what I found when I got on scene.
Also ahead on your only local news at 5:30, Fox 10 News Baldwin County reporter Hal Sherrick goes by boat to the scene of last night's crash below the bridge. You'll also hear from the Alabama Marine Police first responder who pulled the 4 survivors out of the water. Back in May, a tractor-trailer fire damaged the I-65 bridge over the Mobile River. The northbound span of the General W.K. Wilson Bridge was shut down for nearly 2 months as crews worked to replace whole sections of that bridge. Those repairs were completed earlier this month. A truck driver was killed in the crash that started the fire. An on-ramp from the Causeway to the Bayway is still closed after this fire. This one happened last Thursday. Police say a tanker truck couldn't make the turn, hit a guardrail, flipped on its side, and then, as you can see, burst into flames. Fortunately, the driver was able to escape with only minor